Crusade Relics, Warlord traits, etc. get very, very confusing. So I thought, as someone who's got a bit of experience with Crusade, I thought I'd put together a little bit of a guide and explanation of how it all works from my battle barge. Honest. So in Crusade, there are, annoyingly, Games Workshop decided to name many, many things with similar things. I wish they'd called them something like Crusade Artifacts rather than Crusade Relics. And I think that would be a better way to refer to them generally. Within your codexes, you have your normal relics, your normal warlord traits. On top of that, there are battle honors that can include battle traits, weapon enhancements, psychic fortitudes, and crusade relics, which come in 3 levels: artificer, antiquity, legendary. There are further examples of battle traits and crusade relics in your codexes. So I thought I'd put together a guide and talk it all through. Obviously, we all started with 0 requisition points, which means that when you add, there are several ways you can add relics and warlord traits to a character. These use requisitions. So there are a number of requisitions. These are the standard ones that are from the main book. You are not able with creating a list, you're not able to use any of them because with this one we're starting with 1. Traditionally, Crusade start with 5 RP. We start with 0 RP. But that's fine. We're getting RP at a reasonable rate, and we're probably playing more Crusade games than we would otherwise. So standard ones: increase supply limit, increase your power level, increase supply limit by 5 power. So where you choose it once from the start, you go to have 30 power level in your roster available. That doesn't mean you can bring that extra 5 power level to every game. What it does mean is that you can you have more units to pick from. For example, I've done increased supply limit 3 times, once for the free for submitting fluff and twice with spending RP. And that means I currently have 40 power level available to me, were I to agree to a 25 power level game with an opponent. We'd both be 25 power level, but I'd have more units to pick from, which allows me to customize my army more. Fresh recruits is about expanding units. Can't use it on characters, vehicles, monsters, both like inventory, bikes, battle suits, etc. Fine. Can only do it when they're either fresh or blooded, which they have, so up to 1 battle honor. Anymore, you can't use it anymore because the idea is they're too close-knit group of veterans, and new guys can't come in. Rearm resupply, similarly, change war gear options, doesn't work for characters, but otherwise absolutely fine. You do need to, obviously, for both fresh recruits and rearm resupply, increase or alter the power level of your unit as appropriate. For example, my custodies, where I've currently have a 5-strong squad of custodian guard who currently have power level 11. Were I to add fresh recruits to them, then I would need to actually need to increase both. I'd need to increase their power level after spending fresh recruits, because they go up in power level once I go above 5 again. Repair and recuperate is remove battle scar for 1 RP. Don't forget, most battle scars reduce a unit's crusade points by 1. So you therefore, as it says in here, you need to increase the crusade. You need to increase its crusade points effectively if you remove battle scar. There are some battle scars, for example, the custodies ones, that do not cost you any. RP. Sorry, do not cost you any crusade points. But they are rare for now. Psychic meditations allows you to change psychic powers, fine, up to the normal limit. Specialist reinforcements, an interesting one. This is for upgrading units. For example, if you had in custodies, again, I'm going for what I know, if I wanted to upgrade a model to have a dreadnought to have eternal penitent, I need to do a specialist reinforcement for it. It is it 1 RP, I believe, but you increase the Crusade points unit equal to the number of command points that upgrade would normally cost. So if there's a unit upgrade that was 2 command points, you'd increase the unit's Crusade points by 2. However, can't be used for relic or warlord traits, so things like Hero of the Chapter in Space Marines, Victor of the Blood Gains, etc., cannot be used cannot be used with specialist reinforcements. That's a very, very careful one. So we are more limited in warlord traits and relics than we would normally be, to a point. Now, warlord traits and relics, either generally the ones from the main book, well, from your codex, what you tend to pick. It is 1 RP and adds 1 to the Crusade points of that unit. For characters and relics, these are the normal relics. It is +2 if you are a Titanic character, such as a knight character. The knights have to have an additional requisition spent on them because you've got to turn them to character first, which is specialist reinforcement. So it's expensive for knights to do it. But otherwise, it's all in there. Notice these are Codex relics and not Crusade relics. Be very, very careful of the distinction. These are the relics that you can pick from as you would be able to use in match play. Ranks of battle honors, fine, fairly standard. As you level up, as you gain more XP, you gain up and you gain a battle honor. Do note that regardless of any other rules, a unit cannot have more than 6 battle honors. Although you can only get 4 from leveling up, there are some mission rewards that will allow you to gain an additional battle honor. These still limited to 6. You can have more than 6. Notice the names of the ranks. Battle ready is fresh blood, where they start out. Blooded is they play a few games. Battle hardened, experienced. Heroic, that as the name implies, and legendary, they are absolute masters of the craft. Notice battle honors increase Crusade point total by 1 for 10 less or 2 for 11 or higher. So we need to be careful on that one. Pay attention to the power rating of your units. 4 times battle on battle rates, weapon enhancements, Psychic Fortitudes, Crusade relics. Again, what I tend to refer to as Crusade artifacts. Battle rates, pick table, roll on it, fine. Note the character units excludes vehicle and monster units. So if you've got a vehicle character or monster character, they can't roll on the character table. They have to roll on the vehicle or monster table. You may have instead tables in your own codex that you can roll on as well, or instead of. You generally cannot have more than one battle. You cannot have the same battle rate more than once. Okay, to re-roll. For example, my shield captain rolled the heroic constitution after his first battle honor. So he's now at 9 wounds. I couldn't continue to add more wounds to him through rolling heroic constitution again and again. Weapon enhancements. Weapon enhancements is an interesting one. Most people don't realize how it works for the units. If it's a Titanic unit, roll 1d3, and it only applies to one of their weapons. So, for example, if you had a knight character and you wanted to, let's say it's the one with the big Gatling cannon, you want to upgrade the Gatling cannon, you roll only a d3 on the enhancement table. So, autoloader, arm, piercing, high caliber. You cannot get improved sights, accelerator, or masterworked on a Titanic unit. Similarly, you can't get finely balanced shredder or fleshbane on a Titanic unit for the melee weapons. Characters, vehicles, monsters that are not Titanic, roll 1d6. If it is for a non-character, non-vehicle, non-monster, for example, a squad of Space Marines, Space Marine Tactical Squad, or an Intercessor or something, it should be applied to the unit sergeant if the unit has a sergeant. With those units, you roll a d6 and a d3 and apply both upgrades. So were you to roll, let's say, a 2 and a 4 on a Space Marine Sergeant with a Thunderhammer, he'd get a new choice purchase Thunderhammer rather than his bolt rifle. You would get a +1 AP, so become AP3, and you get to a +1 to hit roll, so you're hitting on 3s rather than 4s natively. Pretty tasty. Psychic Fortitude on the table, give you some benefits. Right, now we get to the bit that's all confusing. Crusade Relics. Crusade Relics are taken in place of battle as a battle honor, in place of a level up roll. You can include a character can have multiple Crusade Relics in addition to one relic from their codex. Okay, you can't have more than one of each Crusade Relic on your roster, but a character can have more than one Crusade Relic. Artificer Relics are there. They can be any character when they gain level up. Note that Antiquity Relics require the character to be heroic or legendary, so they've got to be effectively on their 3rd or 4th level up, so you can give them Antiquity Relics. And that adds 1 to its total Crusade points for the Antiquity Relic. So it gets +1 for Battle Honor and +1 from the Antiquity Relic for a total +2. Legendary Relics are complicated. Legendary Relics you have to pay an RP for and effectively increase the Crusade points for 3. Okay, and bearing in mind that these battle honors, if you have a very expensive character, then if you have a very expensive character, they would actually increase it by another 1. So if you were to give a character who was 11 power level a legendary relic, that would require a total of where's it gone? It require a total of 4 Crusade points to the model. Okay, and then as well as having to pay an RP for it as well. Be very, very careful. Okay, don't just accidentally don't just think, oh, I can give them a legendary relic straight off. No, they are to represent great deeds, extremely rare art check. That's where the Vortex Grade is. With my Custodes, that's where Constantine Valdor's spear is, etc. And finally, have actions should be done at the end of the game, so your opponent can witness. Ones, you can take a devastating blow, lose d6, and don't gain from that battle. That means that you literally can't gain any XP. Plus, you actually reduce total XP by 6. Generally, if the unit's only got 1 or 2, it's probably worth taking devastating blow. Battle scars are more thematic. Battle scars generally reduce your Crusade power, your Crusade points by 1. Again, you roll on the appropriate table. You may have tables or choices in your own codex as well. You can roll on in place of these. If there are any other questions, I'm happy to answer them fairly freely, and I hope that was helpful.